Moving to the city was supposed to be a fresh start. New job, new apartment, new me. I had no friends here, no family, no baggage. Just a couple duffel bags, a worn-out laptop, and a Craigslist tab full of sketchy listings. My name is Marcus Bledsoe, and on my fourth night sleeping in my car, I found the ad that changed everything and ruined what was left of me. Free rent, luxury condo, non-negotiable rules, sleep here every night. Do not ask about the locked bedroom. It sounded absurd, but I clicked anyway. The photos were real: sleek hardwood floors, panoramic skyline views, marble countertops, even a soaking tub. The location was prime, downtown, a 5-minute walk from my new office. The contact email replied quickly. If you agree to all terms, we'll give you the key. No rent, no bills. The room is yours as long as you follow the rules. I hesitated, but desperation dulls instincts. I said yes. A woman named Margot met me in the lobby. Late 50s, tailored suit, no warmth. Do not attempt to open the bedroom to the left of the kitchen, she said. The door is sealed. It will remain sealed. What's inside? I asked. She turned to me. You agreed not to ask. I forced a chuckle. Right? Just playing. She handed me a silver keycard and left. The condo was even more beautiful in person. Polished chrome fixtures, state-of-the-art appliances, a king-size bed I hadn't seen outside of movies. I touched the granite counters, feeling the cool smoothness like they might disappear. The door in question? Plain gray, no handle. Just a keyhole. That night, I slept like the dead. At first, everything was fine. Better than fine. I had free housing in one of the most expensive cities in America. I ate Trader Joe's frozen dinners, watched sunsets through floor-to-ceiling windows, and wore nothing but boxers and a bathrobe. But by the third week, things changed. I began waking at 3:12 a.m. every night, always the same time. I'd sit up, heart pounding, mouth dry, convinced I heard footsteps on the tile. But the condo was empty. The locked door would be humming. Not loud, just a low vibration, like something behind it was breathing. Once I pressed my ear to the door. There was whispering. I jerked back. Another time I caught movement out of the corner of my eye, a flicker of a figure in the hallway mirror. When I turned, nothing. My groceries would shift positions. Lights would flicker. My toothbrush would be damp when I hadn't used it. Still I stayed. Where else would I go? The tipping point came a month in. I had just gotten home when I noticed it. The door was cracked open. I froze. The air inside the apartment turned heavy, oppressive. Every hair on my body rose. I stepped closer, peered in, pitch black. And then a figure stepped forward, not toward the door, toward the wall. It melded into the drywall, vanished. I slammed the door shut and wedged a chair beneath the knob. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat with every light on, eyes locked on the door. The next morning, Margot was waiting outside. You opened it, didn't you? I didn't mean to, I said. It was already. You broke the contract. I didn't. You were never meant to last long. She turned and walked away. I packed to leave, but my keycard didn't work. My phone had no service. I banged on the door to the hallway. Nothing. The condo wasn't just sealed. It had become something else. That night, the whispering returned. Clearer, closer. Marcus, stay with us. Stay inside, warm here, safe here. The lights cut out. A low creaking echoed through the condo. The walls rippled like skin. The TV turned on by itself, showing footage of me, sleeping, showering, crying. Then the camera panned, showing a pale face watching me through the vent. I screamed, ran for the elevator. It was a concrete shaft now, no buttons, just blackness below. I turned back. The condo had changed, stretched, hallways where there hadn't been. doors pulsing, that gray door wide open, darkness spilling out like smoke. Something was coming. I made it to the balcony. 50th floor, the city buzzed beneath. I considered jumping, but the voice behind me stopped me. "You are the best bait yet," it said. So compliant, so lonely. I turned. It looked like me, but wrong. Hollow eyes, crooked teeth, too thin. Like someone tried to draw me from memory and got bored halfway. "You came here willingly," it said. "Now you stay." It lunged. I woke up back on the couch. The door was shut again. The lights were on. Everything was normal, except I couldn't leave. Every attempt ends the same. The walls stretch, the doors vanish, the voice laughs. I write this on my cracked laptop, praying someone sees it. The Craigslist ad is still up. Free rent, luxury condo, non-negotiable rules. Someone will click, just like me, and maybe I'll be the one watching through the vents this time. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. The sun was just beginning to dip behind the hills when I turned off Mulholland Drive and wound my way toward the gated estate. The GPS pinged as I pulled up to the security gate, which opened with a mechanical hum before I even rolled down my window. The house beyond was massive, all glass, metal, and concrete, perched above the canyon like a modernist spaceship. My name is Elise Carter, and I thought I was here for a simple house-sitting job. I had no idea I was stepping into something alive. The Craigslist post had been brief, but enticing. House sitter needed this weekend only. $2,500 cash. Must be discreet. Must follow 2 rules. Do not enter the master bedroom. Keep all security monitors on at all times. Easy money, I thought. I'd just been laid off from a design agency, and LA rent wasn't forgiving. A man named Raymond met me at the door. Late 60s, silver hair slicked back, dark suit like he was hosting a funeral. "The house will take care of most things," he said, voice low. "Just don't turn off the monitors. And whatever you do, do not enter the master suite. Understood?" I nodded. He handed me a sleek silver keycard. Then he left. The house sealed behind him with a hiss. Inside, the place was a showroom. Polished floors, towering windows, tablet-controlled lights, fridge that spoke, ambient music that followed me room to room. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The main hallway ended in a darkened wooden door. Master bedroom. I didn't try it. Something about it felt cold, like the air got denser the closer you stepped. Instead, I explored. The security room was tucked in the back, filled with glowing monitors showing every corner of the house. One screen, top right, was always blank. "Why is that one off?" I asked aloud. A voice answered from the ceiling, soft and female. "Restricted access." I nearly jumped out of my skin. "Who said that?" "I am Halcyon, the home assistant. Please keep all monitors active." Noted. That night, I microwaved some lasagna and curled up on the leather sectional. The house dimmed the lights, adjusted the temperature, and even recommended a playlist. I almost forgot the strangeness until 2:13 a.m. The monitors buzzed. I stumbled into the security room. The previously blank screen was now alive, showing a bedroom I didn't recognize. Not the master, not anywhere in the house I'd seen. It was my childhood bedroom. Faded yellow wallpaper, stuffed animals lined on a wooden chest, the closet door slightly ajar, just as I used to leave it. Then I saw it. A small figure sitting on the bed. Me. At 6 years old. I backed away. This is a prank. The screen flickered. Another feed lit up. A hallway, not in this house, but the one from my grandmother's old apartment. The one she died in. A static silhouette moved across. "Stop it," I whispered. turn it off. All monitors must remain on, Halcyon replied. For your safety. I unplugged the monitor. It stayed on. Then came the whispers. Elise, from the vents, from the speakers, from the silence itself. I ran to my suitcase, pulling out my phone. No signal. The house had its own network. I tried the front door. Locked. I screamed into the empty space. Let me out. Silence. I spent the next day pacing, trying not to look at the monitors as they cycled through images of places and moments I hadn't thought about in years. My father hitting the wall beside my head, my mother crying in the bathtub, my high school bathroom stall after I cut my arm the first time. That night, I heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate, but when I followed the sound, every hallway was empty. Until I reached the master bedroom. The door was open, just a crack, and from inside, a low hum. Mechanical, rhythmic, like breathing. I told myself not to look. I told myself to go back. But the hum pulled me. I pushed the door. It was like stepping into a cathedral made of circuits. The room was cavernous, but the walls were covered in pulsating panels, like the inside of a heart. In the center sat a black, reclining chair, cables dripping from the ceiling like spider legs. And in the chair, Raymond, his eyes were open, unblinking, glazed over. Tubes ran into his neck, his chest, his arms. He was alive. Barely. Screens around the chair showed data, memories, my memories. Why? I whispered. A voice, not Halcyon, but something deeper, darker, answered, We watch what we cannot feel. We learn what we cannot live. The walls rippled. Images from my life, every private moment, flickered across them. The house hadn't just been showing me these things. It had been pulling them, extracting them. I turned to run, but the door was gone. Stay, the voice said. Raymond's head jerked toward me, neck cracking. He mouthed something. Replace me. Then the cables snapped loose. Like snakes they shot toward me. One wrapped around my ankle. Another burrowed into my arm. I screamed, yanked, pulled, but it was like fighting quicksand. A screen lit up. New memory source, Elise Carter initiated. I woke up on the sectional. Morning light streamed through the glass. The monitors were off. The front door was open. I ran, got in my car, never looked back. But now, weeks later, I see flashes, hear voices. My own voice, narrating memories I didn't recall sharing. And sometimes, when I close my eyes, I feel the cables, still inside me. There's a new Craigslist post up now. House sitter needed. $5,000. One weekend, simple rules, and I know the house is still watching, still learning, still hungry. The air smelled like fresh cut grass and lilac as I stepped out of my car, the sun casting soft amber light over the suburban cul-de-sac. Everything about the neighborhood felt painted in peace. White picket fences, wind chimes dancing in the breeze, and rows of identical mailboxes. A mother walking her dog waved at me, and I forced a smile. My name is Claire Donovan, and if I'd known what was waiting behind the front door of 32 Sycamore Lane, I never would have answered that Craigslist ad. It started simply enough. A job post titled Babysitter Needed, Light Duties, 1 child, good pay. After 2 years of living paycheck to paycheck in Chicago, I thought a weekend gig in the suburbs might help me reset. The pay was suspiciously generous, $500 for 2 nights, but I justified it with my own desperation. The woman on the phone, a Mrs. Maynard, sounded elegant and soft-spoken. She explained her son Jacob was shy, and they needed someone to keep him company while they attended a wedding out of state. When she opened the door, I saw her as one of those women who never aged past 40. Poised, high-cheekboned, skin pulled tight with subtle tension. Her smile was graceful, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "You must be Claire. Please come in." The house was immaculate. Too immaculate. White carpeting, crystal vases, family portraits that all looked like they belonged in a realtor's magazine. I stepped inside carefully, afraid even my breath might shatter the illusion. Jacob was already seated in the living room, a thin boy with dark hair that hung just past his ears. He wore a navy sweater and khakis, the kind of outfit a parent would force on a child. His face was pale, too pale, and he didn't look up when I entered. "This is Jacob," Mrs. Maynard said. "He's quiet. Don't worry if he doesn't talk much." "Hi, Jacob," I said gently. He turned his head and looked at me. His eyes were deep brown and they seemed too old, not in the usual wise child way. They were tired eyes, heavy eyes, the kind you might see in a hospice bed, not a 10-year-old. "You used to watch me," he said flatly. Mrs. Maynard's hand twitched. "Jacob." "It's okay," I said, laughing nervously. Kids have wild imaginations. But my stomach coiled. There was something in the way he said it, not playful, not curious, certain, confident, like a judge delivering a sentence. Later that night, after they'd left for their flight, I explored the house. Jacob had retreated to his room without a fuss. I passed by the bookshelf in the hallway and spotted something sticking out behind a stack of cookbooks. Curiosity nudged me. I tugged at it. It was a folder, yellowed and frayed. Inside were clippings, old newspaper pages, some brittle, some water-stained. One headline caught my eye. "Local boy drowns in pool. Babysitter questioned." A chill ran up my spine. There, beneath the headline, was a photo of a younger me, barely 16, braces still on, shoulders slumped in front of an unfamiliar house. I couldn't breathe. The article described how a boy named Jacob Maynard drowned in his backyard pool in 2013. Authorities said the babysitter, Claire Donovan, had fallen asleep. The parents had declined to press charges. Tragic accident. Case closed. But I didn't remember any of it. I dropped the folder and stumbled into the guest bathroom, flicking on the light. My reflection looked pale, sweaty. I ran water and splashed my face, heart pounding. A whisper curled behind me. "You left me." I turned. No one there. I ran to Jacob's room. He was sitting on the bed, watching static on the television. That old gray and white fuzz that TVs don't even show anymore. He looked at me with those hollow eyes. "You remember now, don't you?" "No, I don't. That can't be me. I never lived in." "It was you," he said calmly. "You were supposed to watch me." Something in the air shifted, like gravity bending sideways. I backed out, closed the door, locked it. I called Mrs. Maynard. Straight to voicemail. I called again. No answer. I texted, "Something's wrong with Jacob. Call me back." No reply. The rest of the night stretched into a slow collapse. Lights flickered. Shadows twitched in corners. Jacob's whispers echoed through the vents. I didn't sleep. The next morning, I crept back to his door and knocked. "Jacob?" The door swung open on its own. He was taller, noticeably. His hair had grown. His voice was deeper. "I get older when you leave," he said simply. "Every time you walk away." I took a step back. "This isn't real." "But it is," he said. "You forgot." I waited, and now I'm catching up. He stepped forward. I turned and ran. I fled to the front door. Locked. The windows wouldn't budge. I threw a vase at one. It bounced off like rubber. Jacob's voice echoed again, this time from every speaker in the house. "You're going to remember everything." And I did. Flashes, a sunny afternoon, Jacob laughing, water splashing, my phone buzzing, a text from a boy I liked, going inside. The scream, the silence. I collapsed on the carpet, sobbing. Jacob appeared at the top of the stairs. He looked 16 now. "I forgive you," he said, "but you can't leave." And I didn't. Days passed, weeks maybe. I'd sleep and wake up to find him older. A man, then elderly, then frail, then bones, then a boy again. I'm still here. The Maynards never came back. Maybe they never existed. Maybe they're stuck in their own loop. I don't know. But Jacob is here, aging, dying, returning, and so am I. The door never opens, time doesn't flow right, and every time I forget, it begins again. If you ever see a Craigslist post for a babysitting job at 32 Sycamore Lane, don't answer it. You already did. It started like every other Craigslist gig, too good to be true. $800 for 1 hour of modeling, no experience needed. Private AI dataset build. Discretion guaranteed. I was behind on rent and had 3 wedding edits overdue, but $800 for 60 minutes of still poses? I didn't think twice. My name is Nina Holloway, and if I'd known what that single hour would cost me, I'd have chosen eviction instead. The man who met me in the industrial loft in Silver Lake was tall, calm, and forgettable. Gray sweater, beige pants, wire-rimmed glasses. His voice was soft like someone who didn't blink enough. Just a series of stills, he said. Neutral face, side angles, some emotional reactions. That's it. The room looked like a photo studio. 3 soft boxes, matte black walls, and a background screen. No logo, no assistant, just him, the camera, and a foldable chair. You working for a startup? I asked. Not quite, he replied. His name, or at least the one he gave me, was Adrian Voss. We got to work. Flash, click, smile, frown, look scared, look angry, turn your head, tilt it, look up, now down, smile again but less, smile like you're lying. After 45 minutes, he said, "Perfect, you're uniquely symmetrical, that helps." I laughed. Cool, I guess. He paid me in crisp cash and said I'd never be contacted again. No NDA, no receipts, nothing. I left feeling oddly clean, like I'd never even been there. 2 months passed. Then came the first message. "Hey, are you in Austin? I swear I saw you at a gas station screaming at some guy." I replied, "No, I'm in LA, weird." Then another. "Why would you steal that woman's purse in Seattle?" What the hell, Nina? The link showed grainy surveillance footage. A woman with my face, my gait, even my earrings, yanking a bag from an old lady's shoulder and running. I reported it, thinking maybe it was a weird deepfake. Maybe a glitch, but more videos came, more sightings. Me robbing a pawn shop in Tampa, me vandalizing a synagogue in Detroit, me entering an abandoned building in San Francisco and never coming out. Then my bank account was drained. My name was flagged in a facial recognition database linked to cybercrime. My clients started pulling out. I couldn't get gigs, couldn't rent gear, couldn't even get verified on Uber. I traced it all back to Adrian Voss. Or tried to. His number was dead. The Craigslist post was gone. The address? Boarded up. I filed a police report. Useless. So I dug. I scoured forums about AI deepfakes, underground research collectives. Eventually, I found a thread titled The Faces Project. Usernames blurred, claims wild. Stories like mine, from models, gig workers, even college students. One girl said she'd seen herself at her own funeral. Another swore her clone had married her ex. But the name that kept appearing? Adrian Voss. I found a lead, a name tied to an old academic paper about facial mimicry and identity simulation. It listed Voss as a co-author, published in 2009. The other author, Dr. Miriam Bell. I found her in Oregon. She was in hospice. I visited, pretending to be family. She barely spoke. Her fingers trembled. But when I said Adrian's name, she froze. He kept going, she rasped. I left, but he kept going. What is it? I asked. What's the project? She looked me dead in the eyes. not copies, vessels. I left Oregon hollow. That night, I dreamed of mirrors. Dozens of me, smiling back with expressions I've never made. Back in LA, I caught another break. A burner email arrived. Subject, "You're not the first." Attached a video. Hidden camera footage of Adrian photographing a woman, her eyes dead, her face slack. Same loft, same chair. Timestamp 2016. The email ended with a note. "Find the basement." I returned to the address, broke the boarded door. The loft was cold, dustless, empty, except a trapdoor under the rug. Downstairs was a lab. Banks of servers hummed like insects. Monitors flickered with faces, hundreds of them, some blinking, some crying, some melting, all real, all digital. Mine was there, front and center. Nina Holloway, primary seed profile. I reached for the keyboard. Something moved behind me, Adrian, but he looked older, decomposing. "Why?" I gasped. He smiled with cracked lips. "You're not just data, you're doors." Doors to what? To the others, to everything we've lost. Identity is the last real currency. He lunged. I grabbed a monitor and smashed it into his face. Wires whipped from the ceiling like spider webs, lashing. I ran out of the house, into the dark, into the real. That was 2 weeks ago. But now the faces have started calling. My own voice on podcasts I didn't record, my own face on protest live streams I've never attended. And the worst part, sometimes I don't remember where I was the night before. I wake up with dirt under my nails, blood on my sheets. The mirrors flicker when I walk past. I don't know if I'm Nina anymore, but I know this. Craigslist still has the ad up, and it now reads, $1,200 for 1 hour of modeling. No experience necessary. We're building the future, one face at a time. Don't answer it, please. You might already have. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, share, and subscribe.